Good evening. We live in a world where thinking can use some serious nurturing. We live in a world where critical thinking freely, can use some serious nurturing. I want to say from day one of birth or after birth, right away, right there and then, there are examples. The examples that I'm talking about have worked, and they have worked well. One particular such example got a Nobel Prize, but let's talk about two other Nobel Prizes. Two Nobel Prizes were awarded to people who went to school at the school that we now manage in Omaha, Nebraska. It's called Yates Illuminates. Two Nobel Prizes were awarded to folks who went to school there. We run a science club. We run a science club there for 5 years now. We don't know who is the child who will turn to be the third Nobel Prize winner. The model here is after this one particular Nobel Prize winner, Richard Feynman, who's dead when Richard was little, very little, really very little, a day old, whose dad, a business person, a small business owner, decided that he will nurture Richard's curiosity. And then later also Joan's, Feynman's curiosity, Richard's sister, jointly. I mean, they were reading the Encyclopedia Britannica at the age of 5 each, or about that. This is America, okay? This America exists. This America could exist. But when you think about it, the same Richard Feynman, many years later, Nobel Prize winner, participated at Los Alamos. He was very young at Los Alamos. You know, he's the best, the absolute best safe breaker whom I know. He used to break safes at Los Alamos. So, yeah, absolutely. But I have a thing with vicarious living. If I read someone's story or life journey or a book about them, I feel that it is their life that I partly live through myself. You know, it happened with Mark Twain and Tom Sawyer and Huck Finn and Jim, particularly Jim. So I'm in Missouri now, and out of Missouri, I have to tell you that if we do not think freely with our own mind, somebody else will borrow our mind and want to think themselves with our mind. In other words, they will plant their own thoughts into our mind. And that is very easily done. You know, some people call it the alligator brain, and other folks, professionals, discuss about fight and flight instinct. And so it is based on this fight and flight instinct that some folks, politicians mostly, but not only, are trying their best, and they manage quite well to think with our own brain, okay, to kind of borrow our brain and think with it, and so borrow it away from ourselves, thinking with our brain, is what I'm saying. We can't afford that. We can't allow that to happen. We as humankind, we as every single individual, but in joint, combined effort together, we cannot allow others to think with our own mind. We have to think for ourselves. We have to learn from a very early age. And we have to, if we haven't done this for ourselves, we must learn now when we have children, and help our children learn to think for themselves from a very early age. And so this is the only way in which we, humankind, can actually proceed successfully for freedom and liberty forward. Please, 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 do so. Nurture curiosity from day one in every child.